Out of the flames of the burning weapons of the Phoenix Lords, a massive avatar of war is summoned to the battlefield. However, on the other side, golden light radiates from the heavens as Saint Celestine gracefully descends to the Colosseum. They stare off at one another, and finally, they charge. Burning blade meets burning blade, but the avatar overpowers her.
What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. Today we continue going over the grim dark battles of the past and see if the victors of those battles still come out on top with all the new lore, new rules, and updates that have happened within the past 3 or 4 years. So if you're unsure of what grim dark battles is, it's basically where I pit 2 warriors of the 40k universe against one another. I look at their weapons, their war gear, any tactics they know, and I put them in a mock scenario as to who would come out on top. Think death battle, but kind of low budget, because I'm the only one doing this. I wish I could do like some awesome cinematic battles, but alas, this would have to do. So in the beginning of this, I just did it based off lore. Then slowly I integrated a poll that you guys can vote in, and then most recently I'm talking about the tabletop as well. So some of these are, like I said, 3 to 4 years old, so sometimes it was just a popularity contest to see who would win. So let's revisit these videos and see who comes out on top. This is the second one. I will link the previous video so you guys can check it out, where I talked about Space Marines versus Chaos Space Marines. But in this video, we'll see how the Aeldari do against their opponents. So without further ado, let's start off by looking at Eldred versus Ahriman.
The Colosseum is enveloped in warp energy as these 2 psychers appear as if out of thin air into the battleground. Eldred warns Ahriman to surrender, and Ahriman responds by saying, "I've killed Eldar scum before. You'll just be another relic added to my staff." And with that, the battle commences. Eldritch lightning and warp flame are summoned by these warriors and hurled at one another. The battlefield is heavily damaged, however these 2 warriors remain unscathed. Ahriman slows down time as he launches chaotic energy from his eyes, but Eldred counters this speed with time manipulation, and he summons forth a psychic barrier, blocking the infernal gaze. As Eldred continues to block his psychic onslaught, Ahriman unloads his entire clip of infernal bolt pistols. 2 rounds pierce the barrier and critically wound Eldred. This ends Eldred's mind war, which he planted on Ahriman all the way in the beginning of this battle. Ahriman's replay was what got him into the spell. "You dare challenge me in a battle of the minds? As you can see, knowledge is power, and I am more knowledgeable than you, Xeno scum." Eldred, now weakened by having lost this mind war, resorts to using his weapons. Witchblade and shuriken pistol at the ready, he awaits for Ahriman's move. However, Ahriman creates illusions of himself and goes in for the kill. Shuriken pistol rounds disintegrate 3 of these illusions as the Witchblade plunges into Ahriman, the real Ahriman. Eldred pours his remaining psychic might into his blade, hoping to end the fight, but Ahriman's black staff absorbed all of this energy, rendering it ineffective. Xeno scum, and Ahriman pierces Eldred straight through with his staff. In his dying breath, Eldred uses his Staff of Althamar to create a massive Eldritch bolt of lightning. "For the Eldar!" The bolt flashes at Ahriman. You fool. You've already used this attack, and I know exactly how to counter it. This is your end." And Ahriman redirects the attack, leaving Eldred as a charred husk on the floor. The winner of this battle is Isaac Ahriman.
This one literally could have gone any which way. Eldred is probably one of the strongest psychers in the entire galaxy. Of course, he pales in comparison to the Big E and Magnus, but he's just really strong. He's already born in a psychically powerful race, being the Aeldari, and his opponent is no slouch either. Isaac Ahriman is a beast when it comes to casting spells. He's pretty tenacious. Chaos, Zeech has been blessing him time and time again. And I mean, he's been, working with the mind of probably the second strongest psyker in the galaxy, and that is Magnus. So honestly, it is two powerhouses of psychic power going against each other. And back then, the winner was Ahriman. But putting things into context nowadays, Ahriman would still win, seeing as how Eldred is dead. Like, he died trying to resurrect Iniat, the god of the dead. Or is it Rebirth? But anyway, trying to resurrect Iniat, he died fighting against the Death Watch. And so it's a no-brainer. Ahriman would come out on top. However, let's say these two are both alive, I think I would retract my previous answer, and I gotta give it to Eldred. Dude is a powerhouse without being blessed by chaos. Yeah, you could say Ahriman is a space marine, so he's more resilient and whatnot, but Ahriman is fast. He can do awesome, crazy Eldar shenanigans, and on the tabletop, I don't know, man, like, I don't really play too often with Ahriman, and I've never really played the Eldar, so I guess my question to you is, who do you think would win actually one-on-one on the tabletop? I still gotta give it to Ahriman though, so it's a 50-50 for me. I honestly don't know who would win if they were both alive and in their prime. I kind of want to give it to Eldred, but he's dead. So you guys tell me in this one, but it's 50-50. Like, it was Ahriman the first time around. This one I'll do 50-50. So it's still in the odds of Ahriman, I guess. Moving on to the next battle, we have the Avatar of Cain going up against Saint Celestine.
Out of the flames of the burning weapons of the Phoenix Lords, a massive avatar of war is summoned to the battlefield. However, on the other side, golden light radiates from the heavens as Saint Celestine gracefully descends to the Colosseum. They stare off at one another, and finally, they charge. Burning blade meets burning blade, but the Avatar overpowers her. She staggers back as the Avatar unleashes a psychic plume of flame. Celestine is engulfed, but her faith is strong, and she presses on. But another stream of fire scorches her, and yet another, and another, and another. Celestine's flesh is burned off, and she dies in a heap of burning bones and armor. But heroes never die, and by the grace of the God Emperor, Saint Celestine rises from her ashes. It's time to fight fire with fire, and she unleashes her own blast of psychic flame at the Avatar of Cain. She takes to the skies and continues her assault of holy fire. She whispers a prayer to the Emperor, and she dives down, hoping to land the killing blow. But the Avatar catches her mid-flight and slams her down to the ground. The Avatar follows through with a mighty stab, but so does Saint Celestine. The ardent blade has pierced the heart of the Avatar. She smiles. Victory is surely hers. However, Cain's mighty Avatar impales the saint to the ground with his blade. With a barrage of flaming fists, the Avatar of Cain wins this grim, dark battle.
So contrary to popular belief, the Avatar came out on top on this one. I think the Avatar is just a bit too much for Celestine to take on. His molten body, his resiliency is just more than what she can dish out. Yeah, she does have the warp flame blade that can do damage. However, the Avatar can regenerate. Now you could say, well, Saint Celestine, she can never really die. The Emperor will resurrect her. Yeah, you got a point. But in the previous, back in the day, I gave everybody the summoning for the Avatar to be the strongest he could be, and I limited both of their resurrections to just one. And I still think the Avatar of Cain would come out on top. Nowadays, we've seen the Sisters of Battle have new rules in 9th edition, more feats available to them, but the Eldar are getting their new codex, a whole new revamp to their line, and leaks and rumors has it that the Avatar of Cain is gonna be a powerhouse once again. So, I gotta give it to the Avatar once again, dude. Yeah, you could just say that Celestine will never die because the Emperor will keep on bringing her back, but her armaments, the firepower that she can bring, I don't think it's enough to take out the Avatar of Cain. If you guys have any opinions, otherwise, let me know down in the comments. Because honestly, if the Avatar gets his hands on her, like, he's made out of molten rock. Like, she'll just burn up and continually burn. It doesn't matter if she resurrects, she'll just keep on burning. So unless she has any help or anything, like the Emperor has to step in and give her like some of his psychic might, kind of like what he did with Gilliman against Mortarion, then that'll turn the tides. But if it's just the Avatar against Saint Celestine, she doesn't have the firepower needed, the weaponry needed to bring him down. Yeah, she could get lucky and behead him, but I don't see that happening too often. So I'm sticking with the same victor as previously, the Avatar of Cain.
The ground shakes as a vast fissure opens up upon the ground. Ethereal souls surge out, and among them, the mighty Incarn emerges. The sky goes dark as a cloud of pitch-black smoke plummets towards the battlefield. With a mighty swipe of his scythe, the smoke clears, revealing the star god, Azagorod, the Nightbringer. The battle kicks off as the Nightbringer alters the world around the Incarn, the ground becoming alive and stone hands reaching out. The Incarn's speed easily allows him to escape their clutches, and he rushes at the Nightbringer. Crone's sword clashes with Catan's scythe, and a mighty explosion erupts, sending the two weakened gods back in the shockwave. The Nightbringer then summons forth a transdimensional thunderbolt, raw energy crackling from this mighty attack. The Incarn then morphs his blade into a staff, and spins the staff with so much force it repels the thunderbolts. To the surprise of the Incarn, shimmering orbs skyrocket down upon the Elder God. Explosions bombard the Avatar as he is shrouded by the dust and debris of the explosions. The Nightbringer readies his scythe and he approaches the fallen god. But out of the dust the Incarn has caught one of these orbs and launches it right at the ancient Catan. With a slice, the orb is cut in two, but the Incarn is already upon the Nightbringer and pierces his necrodermis with the Crone sword. The Nightbringer then grabs the Incarn's arm and unleashes his gaze of death upon the young god, but this god fires back with his own gaze of Iniat. The two gods pour their entire power into these attacks, for they know that if they get hit, they will suffer immensely. With Vilith Zar still embedded inside the Catan's charged necrodermis body, the Nightbringer slowly gets weaker and weaker, his essence leaving his shell of a body, and this loss of life empowers the young god of death. As Iniad's gaze creeps closer to Azagorod, another hail of shimmering orbs assault the Incarn. Out of the explosion, the Nightbringer emerges with the scythe around the Aeldari god's neck, and with a mighty slash, the Avatar of Iniat is beheaded. The winner is the Eater of Stars, the god of the dead, Azagorod, the Nightbringer.
And finally, we have the new god of the Aeldari, Iniat, going up against the Nightbringer. This was a fun one to record and think about because I love, when it comes to the pantheon of gods of the 40K universe, Iniat is just so amazing. When I was going through the lore and looking up rules as to how he was summoned and how he was like the savior, the hope of the Aeldari, he's the chosen one to strike down Slaanesh. Like, he has to be the strongest god for all the pantheon of the Eldar, because every other god has been taken down, and the only one that did somewhat decent against Slaanesh was Cain, and even then he kind of lost. Yeah, he got away with his life, but still, like, if they're putting all their hopes, the fate of their race for that matter, into Iniat, he has to be a beast capable of taking on a chaos god. The Nightbringer is no slouch though. The thing that I feel brings the Nightbringer down, that I forgot to mention and completely overlooked previously, is that the Nightbringer is fractured. He has been sharded into a bunch of pieces, and unfortunately when it comes to the Catan star gods, they're not at their full strength. So unfortunately, currently, I have to give it to Iniat. Iniat has just more going for him. Yeah, he could use psychic powers to take out the Catan, and that's the Catan's weakness, psychic, the warp. So I honestly don't know what I was thinking back then, saying that the Nightbringer would win, because he's fighting against his weakness, warp power. Like, so, yeah. Maybe if it was an unfractured Nightbringer shard, not shard, but Nightbringer, maybe then that's what I was thinking. But yeah, for sure, Iniat would win. On the tabletop, same thing with the Avatar of Cain. He's going to be even stronger, tougher, more of a threat on the battlefield. And that's really good. That's exactly what they need. However, the Catan can only take a maximum of 4 wounds per turn. So now it's an issue of, can the Nightbringer do enough damage to bring down Iniat before Iniat could whittle him down phase after phase, turn after turn? And that's something that I really want to play out on the battlefield once we get the 9th edition codex for the Aeldari. But with that out of the way, I'm going to give it to Iniat. And with that being said, guys, that is the end of this battle report type video. Death battle. Grimdark battles, if you will. So let me know what you thought about these 3 Aeldari stories of war. Do you think any of these should have gone the other way? Eldred versus Ahriman, the Avatar of Cain versus Saint Celestine, and of course the Nightbringer versus Iniat. Let me know what other Grimdark battles you guys want to see in the future. Of course, I will be putting the playlist at the end of the video so you guys can check out all the previous Grimdark battles. We've got some pretty crazy ones in there, such as Primarch versus Primarch. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to read your replies down below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you guys can check out every video that we put out. And if you like what we do, go ahead on over to the Patreon page where a simple $1 helps us bring you 40K videos each and every day. As always, this has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you then. Peace.